Welcome to week 2. We are gonna start adding all the fun details to our cute little shop. Today we're gonna do a basket weave. So I'm gonna do one down here, whoops, and one up here. So I'm just pulling up some pictures so we can talk about a basket weave. Now, a basket weave is going to look different depending on how you're stitching it, how many threads you're using, how far apart your stitches are, all of that. So let me show you. Now, these are not great pictures because internet, you know? Okay. So this is the one we're gonna do for our hanging basket, which is like a wider, long, skinny basket. We'll do this one on our bottom one, something a little bit closer together, a little bit more square. But let's start here. All right, now what color? That's the question. Any color you want. Sorry, I'm just pulling up my pattern. I thought I had it pulled up, but I don't. Okay, so this one I'm gonna do a dark brown. So that's the 31, I believe. Oh, it's over here on the side. So I'm gonna do 30-31. If you're doing the blue house or the blue shop, you can do black. Or you can pick one of your browns if you want. Whatever you feel like. Okay. Since this is a little bit of a smaller space, normally I would do a basket weave with 6 strands, but because this is a little bit smaller space, I'm gonna go with 4, just so we can fit a little bit more in there. All right. Well, let's get started. Now, if you've done a basket weave before, cool. Usually with a basket weave, I usually do the vertical and the horizontal stitches the same width apart. But to get that kind of elongated, we're gonna do our vertical stitches further apart. So let's start there. Trying to decide where to start. All right, I'm gonna start over here. Now we want to be able to have room on our edge that we can see what we're doing since we're stitching around other places. So I'm gonna do the first one here, and then the next one kind of over here. Like I said, these are gonna be fairly far apart. If you've done a basket weave before, you probably did them closer together than this, which we will on the one below. But I think that this one will be a little bit easier to learn on because your stitches aren't so close together. So we're gonna do this one first, and then we'll do one that's a little bit closer together. Oh, but that one's a little bit close. Let me go back down, hold on. Just a tiny bit further. Yeah. And then one here. And then we'll do one more on the edge. Now, if you're left-handed, it's probably gonna be easier to weave from the left. I am right-handed, so I'm gonna weave from the right. Hang on, I've got a thread on needle that's bugging me. All right, so once we have our vertical stitches, we're gonna start at the top and do our weaving. So now I'm not coming up on this very top line. I'm not gonna go across this top here. I'm coming down just a little bit so that I'll go across them like this. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over, under, over, under. So I'm gonna go over first, or I'm gonna go under this first one, and then I'm gonna go over this second stitch, and then under and over and under and over, like that. Okay, now when you're weaving, just make sure you're not grabbing any threads. You wanna be able to move this. If you've grabbed a thread when you're going over or under, it's gonna catch it so you can't move your needle around. Be careful that you don't do that. And also I'm doing that same thing where I'm pushing from the back when I'm weaving. So, and I'm going under, but when I'm going over, I'm pushing from the back. You can kind of see that bump right there. I'm pushing so that I can make sure I don't snag any threads anytime I go over. Okay, so we're gonna pull that through and then we're gonna go down. Then on our next row, we're gonna do it the opposite way. Now these are gonna be close together like we are satin stitching. And we're gonna go the opposite way. So this first one we went under, so now I'm gonna go over it and then I'm gonna go under the second one. So we're just doing it the opposite way this time and then we'll go back to the first way next time. I probably am too close to that edge, but. Okay, same thing, you should be able to wiggle that around without snagging any threads. Kind of smush that up so they're close together and then we're gonna go down. We're just gonna do that for the whole basket. So we're gonna go back to our first line and we're gonna go under first. Pretty easy. It's just a little time consuming. And I kind of wiggle when I'm going under to kind of make sure I'm not snagging on anything. And then we're just gonna go down right there. What do we think of this? Yes? It's a little bit harder to see because I am using a dark thread, but in person it looks really great. And just like satin stitch, I'm going up on the right side every time and down on the left. I'm almost done with this basket and then I'll show you how to do it with a tighter weave or how it'll look different. Shoot, I was gonna use black though. That'll be hard to see. I have to use a lighter color. If you're using black, it'll definitely be harder to see. I mean, you'll still be able to see the texture, but it'll for sure be a little bit more difficult to see that texture kind of pop. Once I get, because technically I should go under this one right here. I'm not gonna, well, Let's see. I guess I can. It's really tiny. I generally won't pull my needle through until I've gone like over under everything I need to, but sometimes you might have to like pull it like this and pull that through and then do the next one. I find I don't have to do that very often, but if you're struggling, that might help to like do one and then the other, or do a few and then do a few more. We're running out of thread. I think I have enough to finish this though. I'm not too super worried yet. Okay, there's our basket. There we go. That's a better, you can kind of see that fun texture. I love it. I love it. Okay, let me tie this off, and then, so in the back you can see like that satin stitch in the back. Looks so good. All right. I'm bumping everything. All right, let me tie this off. Okay. Basket one. Now let's come down here and do, I actually wonder if I want to do this one as a basket. So then it's kind of like one of these. I mean, I'm going to do a tighter, or I'm going to do a different weave, but like a basket planter like that. I think I'm going to do this far one. Yeah, let's do that. I just tried to zoom in on my fabric. Good times. All right, let's do this one with two colors. So I'm going to use white and 3863 just to do something a little different. So I'm going to do white as my vertical stitches and then the brown as my horizontal stitches. Now, the closer you get your stitches together, the harder it is to weave around. So beware of that when you get stitching. And I nearly always do my vertical stitches first and my horizontal ones second, just because I have an easier time stitching that way. But it's not wrong to do your horizontal stitches first and your vertical second. So if that seems easier to you, then go for it. It's not gonna make a difference. Okay. So I'm going to keep with my 4 strands. I think that worked really well. I think it looks great. If I had a bigger space, I'd probably go 6, but anyways, I'm going to go ahead and when I'm doing my horizontal stitches, then I'll create that curved edge. So these ones are going to be closer together. That's really close together. I'm gonna go over just a tad more. So that's still, I mean, I think you'll be surprised at how close it is together when you start weaving with your other color or with your horizontal stitches. So just beware. You don't want these touching. You will have a hard, I mean, you can, but that'll make like a really thick basket weave. And it will be hard to weave around. So we're just trying to get those the same distance apart all the way across. Whoop. And then we're just gonna stop there at the top of our pot next to it. I feel like I need another one. That's too close. Okay. Do I need one more? All right, I'm gonna tie this off and then I'll get my brown. Now you could use two different browns. You could use black and brown. You could use, I mean, I'm gonna do white and brown, so you can do whatever colors you want. You can do a basket weave with pink and purple if you want. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. Having a hard time with this knot. Okay. All right, let me get my brown out. I already have 4 strands too. How nice is that? Okay. So we're gonna do the same thing, the exact same thing. It's just a little bit harder because the stitches are closer together. So if it's stressing you out, then go back to your verticals being further apart. It's not gonna make a big enough difference to stress yourself out about it. So it's just like taking your time. And if you have a blunt needle, that would be awesome for this, because then you're less likely to snag your threads while you're weaving through them. I'm trying to decide how close I want these. So sometimes I'll kind of point my needle down, just as long as you're not, see how I caught that right there? So long as you're not snagging threads is our biggest thing, so. So this one is kind of a little bit more rounded. If you kind of leave that down a little bit, you can kind of swoop it a little bit. I really want to make sure I'm staying on that line. Kind of fun with 2 colors. Now just remember, some of this will get covered up over here with our flowers. So if it's not perfect, like don't be stressed about it, because some of this will get covered up with the flowers around it. So there's no reason to get too crazy. Sorry. But 2 colors is really fun. All right, do you guys have any basket weave questions before I set you free? Since these are 2 different lengths, I think it's easier to go through the longer ones first and then go and do the shorter ones. Okay, I'm gonna do one more then, and then I'm gonna let you go. Right, that one went under. This one's over. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do, but do you see how much closer together those ones are? Even though these are not like super, the white ones are not super close together, but it's still close together because my horizontal ones are close together. Okay, so compare that to that. I'll put some pictures on stories because then I can look at it a little bit better. But anyways, I'll post some pictures so you can see better close up, but let me know if you have questions. And then tomorrow, I think we'll start flowers tomorrow. I don't know, flowers or books. Maybe I'll put up a poll. You guys can decide. All right, I will see you back here tomorrow. Have a good afternoon and goodbye.